So I'm reading this morning that FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, you know, FEMA, has stopped paying and helping victims of the earlier this year tornado ravaging that took place in Joplin, Missouri, and some other surrounding areas, to instead take some remaining funds, because they're running really low on the allocated funds that they have to deal with these things, and saying, screw you tornado people in your little small towns, we got New York and the East Coast to deal with from this little tiny storm that did cause some damage, but there's a lot more people on the East Coast that were affected even a tiny bit by this storm, this Category 1 hurricane that just went through. So, you know, there's a lot of votes over that way on the East Coast. We really need to make sure we get them taken care of, because so many voting people all are over there. And from last I heard, there's 19 million alone in just the state of New York. 19 million people. And the whole area combined for the tornado situation from earlier this year was around 12 million. So we have 12 million combined over there in Joplin, Missouri, and the surrounding areas combined there. And then just in New York, we have 19 million people. And of course, we got the big Wall Street people, the rich families, you know, the real higher class of society, or whatever the hell you want to call them. We're gonna have to take the remaining funds out of FEMA and go over that way with it. And a part of the article I read, they are definitely running low on funding, and they're gonna have to press the government for more. We need to see if we can get kind of like an emergency spending resolution bill, something passed to give us more above and beyond basically what we have right now and what we're used to, because we need it. But since there's no money left in this country, as some what I like to call experts who are not on the mainstream media, and nobody said this on the mainstream media, is that gives the month of September, you know, 2011, give September a week or two or so, thereabouts, before old Ben Bernanke kicks in quantitative easing 3. Sure, he did his little Jackson Hole thing, yeah, we're not going to do anything, we need Congress to step up, but we do have a big toolbox. We do have a big toolbox on standby. What that means is exactly what Alan Greenspan said. We can pay off all of our debt. We can do anything we want to do because we have a printing press. So all those poor saps, those suckers, countries included, mostly speaking, who are holding our bonds, we'll just print the money to pay you off, which is like a de facto default, if you will. That's all it is. It's a default one way or the other. Because if you tell someone who's holding your bonds, look, you're going to take a 75% haircut right now, and what we owe you and the rest of the world, take whatever that is, deduct 75%, you're left with 25%, that's what we're going to go ahead and give you. Well, that's one way of defaulting. But that, we can't have that, because that's like what Greece has been trying to do in these other countries over there, Portugal, Italy. No, we can't default, let's just give them a loan so they can pay it in full. But it doesn't really matter, because the money's being printed one way or the other. And if the European side of things over there does it that way, by just printing money out of the European Central Bank and the IMF, they can water down their currency too at the same time the United States waters down its currency. Because if, let's just say for example, the Euro or the EU area, which is all using the Euro, decided we're giving everybody who has these bonds across the entire EU haircuts. And let's do the same example. 25% is all you're going to get. That would allow them to not have to print more money. So the amount of money in circulation would basically stay the same. Meanwhile, over here on these shores, America, we're still printing out of control. Which of course, you would then look at the US dollar You know, what's the dollar index today? What's the dollar index today? Again, it's weighed heavily on the euro. So then you'd see that thing, the euro, climbing and the US dollar tanking heavy duty. So what they've done is, let's just make sure everybody prints money. So the EU is going to print money. America's going to print money. And they'll both sink, as I've said many, many times, many examples, the same ship, the same example, 2 sinking ships. And as they fight to try to keep them in line, one ship sinks a little faster every now and then. It gives the other ship's appearance that it's rising in value. Hey, the dollar. And then all of a sudden the dollar takes a little bath, starts to go down faster than the euro. And then it goes up a little. Hey, the euro's up today. It's only up because you're comparing them against each other, basically. The other little currencies they put in there don't amount to anything. You know, it's like comparing 5 cents of one currencies or different currencies. They're all worth a penny, and then the euro's worth 95 cents. You know, of course, if you compare it to that, you're comparing 95% of that basket of currencies, or whatever you want to call it. You know, I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know the exact number, but it's heavily weighed on the euro. So everybody's printing money back and forth. So now the United States doesn't have money to pay for things that it should be paying for, which is its citizens, first and foremost, long before they send Israel and any other country, you know, aid money, which isn't aid money. Every time you see Israel bomb the Palestinians in the Strip, the Gaza Strip, that's your tax dollars doing that. Of course, if you don't pay your tax in opposition to that, you get your door kicked in. IRS comes and pays you a visit, seizes all your assets, kicks you out of your house, etc. Therefore, you don't have a choice but to continually being raped by those things they call taxes. Which, again, if you go back over just a little over 100 years or so, no taxes that we have today practically, maybe just a very few, out of like over 100 taxes, there's only a few left that we had then. So you could basically say approximately 100 of the taxes, major taxes we have now, which, by the way, including income tax, did not exist just 100 years ago, or just slightly more than 100 years ago. But they can't fund these things, raping and pillaging of Libya, you know, any country in the Middle East for that matter, without that kind of backbone financial support, which we're paying for. And again, if you don't pay it, you're gonna be met by the black boots to come over and kick your door in. And of course, you'll be made a example of, hey, this guy wasn't paying his taxes. Oh my God, the whole neighborhood saw this guy. They had a SWAT team here and this and that. Wow. For what was it for? What was it for? Was he doing drugs or something? No, he didn't pay his taxes. What? Didn't pay his taxes. Oh man, I better make sure I pay mine. Better make sure I pay my taxes. Don't want that to happen to me. Not thinking, well, what did this country turn into? Why are you even having to deal with that? Forget that. Don't think about that. That's too commonsensical. I just made that word up. So let's just give in. Hey, I don't want that to happen to me. So I'll do whatever it takes to make that happen to me. If you guys want to fund these unconstitutional wars with my tax money, by God, I'm going to keep paying it. Now our citizens are struggling over in Joplin, Missouri, and the whole surrounding area over there. You guys are on hold. Now FEMA's first in line when the news cameras are rolling and destruction there. FEMA helicopters and big trucks and setting up camp and communication center. We're going around seeing what's going on. Big news, boy. Oh boy, all right, FEMA. Boy, FEMA's got its act together now. They're doing good finally. A short time later, the camera stopped rolling. FEMA's gone. And of course, these people, hey, we would like to collect some money to help repair here. Like you said, this is what this emergency management thing is for, FEMA. You know, we need help here. Yeah, we're going to give it to you. Oh, darn, shoot. Guys, what? What? We just had a little hurricane category 1 over on the East Coast. Okay, so you're going to help them out too? Yeah, we are, but not help them out too. That would mean other people are getting help, and then somebody else comes along and needs help when you use the word too. You just, as they love to say, you just misspoke. Actually, they're not going to get help too. They're only going to get help. You guys are stopping dead in your tracks where we were helping you due to, remember the Roman Empire example I gave? Unfunded liabilities. Why did the Roman Empire collapse? What was the main reason? The driving force. Unfunded funded liabilities. So as you can see, FEMA has no funding and is now about to press Congress for some emergency lending, funding, whatever, to come forward so that they can help the citizenry out. So wouldn't it be perfect? Well, Ben Bernanke steps up. Hey, we're going to have to go with some type of quantitative easing at this point due to the natural disasters that are happening in America. This storm, although it was small, caused a good amount of damage, which has only been reported to be several billions of dollars, which isn't that big when you look at how much they give one of these banks like JP Morgan or Bank of America. I mean, that's chump change, actually. So wouldn't it be funny for them to use this as an example why they need to go ahead forward with quantitative easing? All these natural disasters, we had certain funds for FEMA, now they need more. We're going to have to do it. And of course, they'll give it a lot more emergency funding than needed, because that'll be the little watch the left hand while the right hand's over here taking more money for the banksters and everything else, when you only needed to come up with maybe a few more $1 billion is all they really needed to help Joplin, Missouri, and other places in that area. But no, we're going to go for a lot more money so that we can give them a tiny bit over in Joplin, Missouri, literally a tiny bit, which probably won't even be enough to fix what they need fixing. And then the rest of it goes back into the financial black hole. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but since I do know government so well, if the right catastrophe, as old Timothy, little Timmy Geithner said, we hate to let a crisis go to waste. And what I mean by that, and he goes on to explain, it's simple. And he says, there's a certain legislation and things you can't get passed until the right crisis occurs. It's that time they can capitalize and get that legislation passed. He was just balls enough to say it, had the balls to say it, right there on TV, which is exactly what the elite do. They, just like 9/11, they tried and tried and tried, 2 or 3 different times, by the way, prior to 9/11, 2001, to get the Patriot Act passed. And they called it different names prior to that, but it was the same legislation. That's the key. And then, of course, the right crisis took place, 9/11, terror attack. Oh boy, we're going to lose some constitutional rights, but we got to remain, you know, secure in our country. We need security, so by all means, in this catastrophe, we'll go ahead and pass it. And all the Congress, aside from Ron Paul, maybe one other person, I don't even know, said no. Incredible. And isn't it funny that Ron Paul was just trying to be spanked on TV by these news people? Hey, you want to get rid of FEMA? Can you explain that one, Congressman? And he explained it very well. And guess what? FEMA is out of money right now. They don't have the money. They've been sitting in power, I guess, since 1979 as this, you know, FEMA organization. Administrative costs, how many hundreds or thousands, probably not hundreds, thousands of people work for FEMA. Government paycheck, huge paychecks, buildings, facilities, equipment, helicopters, you name it, everything. How many billions of dollars, billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, do you think FEMA cost us since its inception in 1979? You could have left it to the Red Cross, and then when a disaster occurs, send in the National Guard. That's what you're supposed to do, in conjunction with the Red Cross, to help out, figure out what areas houses are destroyed. You don't have homeowners insurance, or whatever the reason, it's not covered, or you need help, bridges need to be fixed, whatever. Okay, we know how much that's going to cost. Federal government write the check, and you know, the National Guard's there to ensure it gets done properly or whatever. Instead, we got to have more government. That's always the answer. More government, more bureaucracy. How much does that turd cost us over these many years? And now they don't have money. It's kind of like these organizations you give to. Give to the, you know, I don't even know, the Haiti, right? The Haiti earthquake fund. Remember the earthquake that struck there was real devastating? Whenever something like that happens, there's always these funds that come out. Not to mention the one that you always see, you know, there's these starving children in Africa, and they got little flies stuck on their, little flies stuck on their eyeball. The kid looks like he's about to die. Kind of like the animal commercials you see about, the ASPCA or whatever, and they've got these little kittens and puppy dogs, and the dog looks like it's actually crying, and oh my God, my heart, oh, I gotta help them. They're struggling right now. You give these types of organizations, maybe not the animal one, because I'm not too sure on that, but you know, like the Save Haiti Fund, Help Haiti Fund, and you give all the Red Cross, or I don't know if it's the Red Cross, but there's certain organizations that come up. We'll help you give them that money. You know, call now, and you call now, and you find out that, you know, 85, 90 cents on the dollar or whatever the amount is goes into their pocket to, you know, to run their organization to help the people in need. So the people in need get 10 cents on a dollar, or 10%. And again, I don't know the exact numbers. Maybe it's 20%, 15%, whatever. And the bulk of your money that you're going to help these people with gets pocketed in the middleman all the way there. And by the time it reaches the end, there's almost nothing left. Truly amazing. And I see all these things, you know, help the American Cancer Society. Pitch into the American Cancer Society. Oh, I'm gonna donate all this money so and so on these, you know, Donald Trump show, The Apprentice, or whatever the hell it's called. And you won your thing today, so you're gonna take $50,000 to your fund or whatever. What is yours? Oh, mine's the American Cancer Society. All right. Let me tell you something. People don't make money. Big corporations do not make money on treating and absolutely curing things. It is contingent. It has become the absolute business model of today's society to have repeat business over and over and over again. See, it used to be good back in the day, like in the 50s, 60s possibly, and slightly before that, let's say, where you could have a business model of, I'm going to make something, and of course in America, when we had actual industry here, and you bought tools or something to repair cars or tractors or vehicles, whatever, you bought nice tool sets. Those tools would last freaking forever. So that company did not necessarily rely on you coming back to them. There was enough people, enough population growth that they recognized there's always going to be children growing, the population's always getting bigger. As that happens, that normal process, there'll be new customers, new businesses, and we'll make our money that way. But the China model, I like to call, kicked in a while ago and is now in full effect. Let's create crap. It'll work for a little while, and then it breaks, and then you need more. But it was so cheap, it doesn't really bother you that much, does it? Because it was so cheap. Yeah, not really. Okay, so I'll go buy another one, and then that one breaks even faster than the other one broke. I gotta go to the store now. I'm right in the middle of this damn job, and this freaking thing broke. I'll be right back. So now it's cutting into your labor and your time. It's getting on your nerves. Why can't I just buy a quality product? By the time you figured out how many you need to buy, you could have realized 2 times ago I could have bought an American product, and then you realize I'm going to go buy an American product because I'm tired of this China stuff and there isn't any more. Can't find it. Oh, well, that sucks. The pharmaceutical industry, the health industry, whatever you want to call it, the health/pharmaceutical industrial complex, doesn't make money on giving you one cure that fixes you the rest of your life. If you can be forced to come back to them every month, I need my pills refilled, every month I need this treatment, every month I need something, you're going back to them over and over. It's just like a drug dealer. Hey, you got a 10 sack or whatever of marijuana, some bud. Give me some bud. I want a nickel bag, a dime bag. Okay, here you go. Oh, I smoked it all. I need some more. Go back 2 weeks later. You got another dime bag? Yeah, need another one. You keep going back. You're fiending for it. In this case, people aren't fiending. They're not, I need that drug. It's simply, I've got a condition, and that drug helps it go away. But as soon as I stop taking the drug, my condition comes back in full force. So they're never curing it. It's never cured. It just keeps you coming back and over and over, which is why it's so critical, as Pastor Dowell's told me many times of the people at Straightway, it is critical, and they already know this, to eat healthy. Sure, you can have some junk every now and then, and you know what? They have some junk every now and then at Straightway. Every now and then. But their main, huge part of their diets, 90-something probably % of the time, is organically grown food right there, chickens right there, goat milk, cows, slaughter, etc. right there on the property. It doesn't get any fresher and more healthier than that. And like he said, there's people from 2 years old to like 82, I think he said, all just living, eating properly. Nobody's on medication. Nobody does none of that nonsense. Now, how is that possible? 82 years old? What? 82 years old, not on medication? Are you crazy? Are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. Not kidding you at all. As a matter of fact, my wife's uncle, who's like 92 or 93, still plays tennis. Walks and plays tennis. Of course, you can't walk and play tennis, but I mean, I'm saying that because he's not on like a walker or a wheelchair. He eats pretty decent too. And for him especially, he maintains himself by staying in shape and always doing something. So that combination with each other, you can't go wrong. So I just want to share that with you because doesn't look like things are getting better anytime soon, and you have got to take care of yourself. You have got to take things in your own hands instead of leaving it to the system, calling a doctor. What's wrong? I was telling Pastor the other day, one of my 5-year-olds, Mommy, Daddy, it hurts when I go pee. It really hurts. Okay. Did it hurt again? Yeah, it still hurts. Okay, she's got a urinary tract infection. Yeah. You can't just go get antibiotic. You have to get prescribed that. So, okay. Go ahead and take her to the little walk-in clinic or wherever it was, little doctor's office. Okay, well, it was a Saturday. Not this Saturday, but whatever. It was a Saturday. And, gotta wait till Monday for the results to come in. Okay, no problem. Monday comes in. Oh, doctor, what's up? Nothing. There's 0. Really? Seems like it gotten a little worse, actually. She's hurt. It still hurts even worse now. And she's starting to run a fever. Huh. It'll just give it time. It'll run its course. Okay. A couple days later, worse. Fever getting far worse. Take her back to the doctor. Have him check it again. Send out another test. Boom. Nothing. No, nothing in the urinary tract analysis, whatever. Fever's getting worse. We're into this a few days now. Friday comes, we're in it practically a week. Fever still bad, 104 degrees. Pee still hurts. Okay. Now you would basically say, man, we just have to let it run its course. I mean, come on, we've been there twice already. These are experts, for God's sakes. They certainly aren't lying to you, are they? I mean, someone's got to be testing that damn sample. Twice in a row, there's nothing in there. And she's been hurting when peeing since Saturday. So all that whole week till Friday, 2 tests have occurred after she started hurting. Therefore, if there was a urinary tract infection, it would had to have shown. Nope. Nothing. Friday comes. Take her to the walk-in clinic. All right. Go to the walk-in clinic. And they were able to test something and have it done actually, like either on site or very rapidly. So we didn't have to actually wait. Oh my God, she has got a urinary tract infection. Let me tell you, it's a pretty bad one. I'm gonna give you this kind of powerful antibiotics. Just knock this thing out pretty quick. Okay, thanks. Get back home, go get those things. She starts taking them. Man, the next day it's already better. Second day, gone. So I told my wife, we need to call you, or excuse me, you need to call, because I'm at work doing stuff. You need to call those first 2 places you went to, which I thought was the same doctor's office, and tell them we want a refund. If I go get my car fixed and they don't fix my tire and it keeps having a problem, or whatever the problem is, right, keeps coming back, they don't charge you every time you come back. I paid you to fix this particular problem that you said you fixed, or you told me wasn't there, and I paid you the labor to spend your time diagnosing this. It's still there. Need you to look at it. When they used to come to my car shop that I used to work at years ago, and that was the case, and we diagnosed something, and hey, it's still doing it. We didn't say, okay, well, I need another hour's labor. We already charged you the hourly labor before to look at it. We didn't find anything. Now that you're saying it's back again, I'm going to have to just look at it. So we would just go look at it. We didn't charge extra. We already charged them. We got charged 3 times. You gotta be kidding me. And what would a normal, rational person think? These are experts. These are doctors. They sent the thing off to a lab. There's no way that both times the doctor missed it and the lab people missed it twice. There has to be something else. I'm not taking her back to the doctor again. Let's let it run its course. But because we know how this system works and how many bozos are out there and how many people slack at their jobs and don't care, maybe the person who got the little sample, I don't have time for this. It's probably nothing. Didn't even care, was busy, something, who knows what the reasoning was. We know better. We know our children. You know your children too. When that kid is sick, you know it. You've had a urinary tract infection yourself more than likely sometime during your life. There's no way it pees. When you pee, it hurts, and it's usually not that. And you start to run a fever later on. It's just getting worse. That's okay. Boom. Got them pills, got them antibiotics, whatever. Cleaned it up. She's beautiful, ready to go. Everything's fine. So had we not been persistent, challenging, questioning authority, the doctors and the sample examiners, whatever you want to call them, that's the authority. That's the experts. We're questioning their authority because they have authority over us, supposedly, in the medical industry and knowledge of those things. Can't question them authority. They're the freaking, that's what they do. We don't do that. Like, I'm the authority when it comes to computers, networking, IT, infrastructure. That's me. I would be considered an authority source on those matters. So if someone who knew nothing of it, or barely anything of it, came to me to ask me some questions or about their computers messed up, which, by the way, I fixed several Pastor Towell's computers, and one of his people down there, Sister Cindy. Because why? I was an authority source on those matters. I was the informational guy, the quote expert, if you will, on those things. Beautiful running, got everything hooked up, everybody's happy, great. So that's what I'm talking about when I say the authority source or the expert. I'm not trying to blow smoke up my butt. I'm just giving you an example. So who am I to question Mr. IT guy, to question the freaking doctor? He's been in medical school and college and got his PhD or whatever, and he's an MD now. Who's little old Joe in his laundry room, conspiracy guy, researching things on the internet to challenge this guy? Are you crazy? Yeah, I am crazy. And it paid off because my daughter's not sick anymore. Let that be a lesson to you.